We owe it all to Andy Warhol and to Anita Bryant.
Hello, and welcome to the Tour Project. I'm Project Manager Eric Solomon. For this stop on the tour, navigate to 555 Peachtree Street Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30308. This is the former site of the Pleasant Peasant Restaurant. Elliot Mackle discusses the Pleasant Peasant Restaurant beginnings in a 2001 article for Creative Loafing. Mackle writes, "The casualization of Atlanta restaurants began on a rainy night in February 1973, when partners Dick Daly and Steve Nygren opened the Pleasant Peasant in a former drugstore on Peachtree Street in Midtown. An almost instant success, the restaurant introduced the staid city to flamboyantly gay male waiters, formularized country French food, chalkboard menus, and checked shirt informality. Coats and ties were not required for men. Reservations were not accepted. Uncomfortable cafe chairs, wobbly tables, and shamelessly weak mixed drinks were trade-offs for large entree portions, modest prices, and a campy, ambisexual scene." As Atlanta Magazine writes, within months, lines stretched out the door. Nygren grew the chain to 34 restaurants across 8 states before selling them in 1994 and founding the new urban utopia Serenbe with his wife, Maria. Nygren reflected on the Pleasant Peasant in a 2019 article for Georgia Trend. Nygren states, "We served fresh food with fresh ideas, fresh food with continental style that Atlanta had not seen." Cliff Bostock recalls the Pleasant Peasant with mixed feelings in a 2017 essay for Georgia Voice. Bostock writes, "That restaurant and those it spawned, like the Peasant Uptown and Phipps Plaza, were infamous for their almost entirely gay staffs. 'Hello, my name is Rick and I'll be your server today,' he said, displaying one of the little green chalkboard menus that the peasant restaurants used. The problem with that campy act, for me, according to Bostock, was that it so grimly echoed the style of young African-American boys who introduced themselves and recited blackboard menus hung around their necks at the infamously racist Aunt Fanny's cabin. The peasant restaurants," Bostock continues, "of that time provided many jobs, especially for young gay newcomers. They were unusual in offering insurance. But when the AIDS epidemic slammed our city in the 80s, the owners quietly announced they would no longer do that. Fortunately, they reversed themselves thanks in part to ACT UP, the feisty organization that did more than any other to improve the lot of AIDS patients." Here's Dave Hayward with more on the Pleasant Peasant and the Peasant network of restaurants.
When we keep on going down Peachtree at Linden Avenue, about 2 blocks away, were the sites of the peasant restaurants. It's arguable as to whether or not a restaurant can be called a gay restaurant, but they were very high profile. And you would go there, and most of the waiters were gay men. And it was, again, very welcoming and friendly and comfortable. And it's like, okay, and here I am, and I'm being waited on by a gay man who's an openly gay man. And then Dick Daly opened a bar and restaurant downtown, right there down the street from the Peachtree Plaza Hotel, called Daly's, that was open for many years and had a cabaret, had a performance area too, in addition to a restaurant. So the peasant restaurants. And then they actually expanded. They had a more comfortable, informal offshoot called Mix. And they had several different places. There was a peasant at Phipps Plaza. And they had several along Peachtree Street, in addition to the 2 downtown. That's gone with the wind. But I think, again, that in terms of having a more high public profile, an openly gay profile, that I think the peasants were an important part of that. So.
Thank you for joining us on this stop of the Tour Project. For more information, visit tourqueeratlanta.org. That's TUOR queeratlanta.org.